Okay, Akure on the state. So, hi, Samuel. We are basically from the same location right now because I'm also in Akure. So, let's wait for others to join in. And, okay, so while they're joining in, while we're waiting for others, hi, Moses Joel. Welcome, welcome. So, while we wait for others to join in, let's have a quick chat. So I'm sure a good number of us here we are either working remotely or we have an on-site job. So I want to know, are you do you think your current pay is is equivalent or is commensurate to your skill set? So do you think you're getting underpaid, overpaid, or just commensurate to what you're bringing to the table? I I Olumide. So yeah, while we wait for our speakers, let's just talk about that. You can use the chat box and let's just have a quick chit chat about that. I'll be waiting for your responses. Praise, Samuel, Joseph, success. Do you have anything to say concerning that? And did you get my question? Please let me know. And can you hear me very well? Am I audible enough? Okay. Okay. Okay, so success is saying she's getting underpaid, grossly underpaid. Okay. Why do I feel I can relate? Of course I can relate. I'm a nurse, and for nurses we get paid peanuts compared to what we do. Like we work so hard, just like the footballers, the basketballers, we work as hard as they do, and we get paid less than 1% of what they get paid. So of course I get you. My investors, JMB. This is Toluwashe. He's so good with Wiley people and he's here right now. So Toluwashe, um, do you think you're getting underpaid, overpaid, or it's just oh you can't hear anything? Please, is it just Moses? Please, please, can you
Um,
hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I think you might have to leave and join in again because I can hear her clearly, and other people can also hear. I mean, Chris can hear, so I think you might have to leave and join again. Sorry for that.
Okay. Okay. Okay, no problem. So can you please just leave and join so that we okay. Okay, so while we wait for him, so as I was saying, um Toluwashe, before you joined, I was asking others that do they think they're getting underpaid, overpaid, or it's just good. Their skill sets is equivalent to what they are getting paid. So I want to hear your own point of view as well. Okay, he said he can still not hear me. So what are we going to do now? Maybe I should change my location. Okay, so I'm trying to speak louder. Is it loud enough? I'm changing my location right now. So is it loud enough? Can others hear me though? Hi Sharon. Hi God Covenant. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Okay, so good evening everyone once again. I'm your host for today and my name is Precious Ogolaye. So I'm going to be your host for today and I hope at the end of this section we are you are able to get one or two things from it and be able to run with it. So let me introduce our speakers to us this evening. And I just want to say thank you for coming. Thank you for honoring our invitation. And we are grateful to have you here. So, so I'm going to start with Joel Moses Babatunde. He is widely known as Oga HR. He is a TEDx speaker, an award-winning HR consultant, and one of Africa's top 100 HR leaders, as recognized by Seamless HR. With nearly a decade, with nearly a decade of cross-industry experience spanning law, insurance, FMCG, tech, education, e-commerce, and consulting. Is passionate about building people first organizations. Is the founder and lead consultant at Dear HR Consulting, where he helps startups and SMEs turn people strategy into business growth. JMB is also the convener of the African Workforce Summit and host of the Oga HR Show, where he explores work, people, and the future of Africans' workforce. And for our second speaker, Sharon Ariyo-Adeoye, she's better known as Ronnie. She's a personal brand strategist, a storyteller, and founder of Lenora, a personal branding and career development agency, helping ambitious professionals build fulfilling careers rooted in alignment and self mastery. Through her work, Ronnie helps people uncover the overlooked experiences and strengths that sets them apart. She also founded Accelerate, a community for ambitious women, and hosts G2Y, a podcast exploring the deeper meaning behind our careers. At her core, she believes personal branding is shaped by who you are when no one is watching. And for our third speaker, I love this intro so much. Olumide Dickson Sosaya. I do my best, drink water, love Jesus. In my free time, I write code and build tech. That is what it's all about. So, again, welcome once again to BCB. Welcome once again to BCB Origins and our third episode of Insider Convo. So, a short brief of what we do at BCB Origins and what Insider Convo is all about. BCB Origins is a community and events platform that is focused on helping people grow from where they are to where they want to be by giving them access, resources, and global opportunities. We host events, conversations, and storytelling around talent development, career growth, and the real life journeys of industry experts and global talent. Basically, it's all about learning, connection, and impact. BCP stands for brand, customers, and products. In case you're wondering what's the meaning of this BCP, it stands for brand, customers, and products. It was founded in 2022 2022 with a pilot event in Akure, Ondo State that drew 120 attendees. BCP has since grown into a movement. Today, 80 to 90% of those first 120 attendees work inside some of the most remarkable companies in the world. In 4 years, BCP has hosted 12 events across 6 states in three geopolitical zones, impacting over 6,000 people across Nigeria. 2026 marks BCP's fifth year, and the theme is talent development. Every conversation, event, and resource this year is designed to bridge the gap between local reality and global standard. And that explains why our first episode was all about talent talent gap, and you'd also see something similar in what we have for today's conversation. Now, what is about insider convos? Insider Convo is BCP's conversation series where we bring in the people who are on the inside, the ones who actually know what's happening, to give us the real gist. No polished speeches, no rehearsed answers, just the kind of honest conversation you have with a mentor who is already been through it and is willing to tell you what actually happened, not just what looked good from the outside. Each episode is built around real stories, real mistakes, and real frameworks. The goal is simple: live with something you can actually use. And and with that being said, I hope we are with our books, we are with our journals, we are with our pens, because we're going to learn a whole lot today. And that brings us to our topic for today: why Nigerian startups struggle to find great talent. So, welcome once again, our speakers for today, Joel, Ronnie, and Mide. Please, let's use our emojis to welcome them. Use your chat box, show that you're excited and you're ready for today. Good. Okay, so I hope everyone can hear me now. compared to what happened earlier. Okay, good. So thank you, everyone. Um, so my first question is directed to three of our speakers, right? So when you heard about what the CEO of MoneyPoint said concerning talent and how he had a lot of job opportunities and he was not able to see Nigerians to fill in that gap, how did you feel? What was your response? What went through your head immediately you heard him say it? So I would love to start with Olumide, please.
I don't think I got the question fully. Can everyone hear me? First of all, before I get
Okay,
into it.
can you?
Can you hear me? Please, can you take the question one more time?
Okay, so what went through your mind when you heard about what the CEO of MoneyPoint said concerning talent in Nigeria and how he had a lot of opportunities, but he did not see people that were like worthy enough to fill in those gaps?
That conversation was very interesting, and I'm happy to talk about it here. And you've talked about a lot about PCP. I really want to, before I even just start bouncing off, I'm very inspired by the entire PCP initiative. So thank you so much, PCP, for inviting me here. I love to talk about talent. Um, all the work I do right now is targeted towards talent development as well. Mostly more of talent visibility, in fact. And I think how that relates with what Tosin was trying to say in that speech he gave at the platform. The first thing that came to my mind was the most recent, my most recent rebuttal against the, this might sound like I'm anti-Nigeria here, against the concept that, oh, Nigerians are so smart, Nigerians are so exceptional versus the let me just say white peers or foreign peers that when we go out there, when we go to their universities, we excel, we pass.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you,
Yes.
JMB. Can
Oh
you
my
hear us?
God, I've suffered today, Mo. Okay.
So sorry, JMB. So, we have this conception that when Nigerians go to other countries, they do better in other countries, and they even do better than the people that are in those countries. And we use that to assume that Nigerians could actually be better than these guys if we have a better infrastructure. Yes, we will be better than who we are now. But the reality that I have seen working with people globally is that um, when it comes to a lot of things that have to do with skill, professionalism, and just being great generally at what you do, the reality is that I've seen. This is my own opinion. That I've seen. The reality is that Nigerians are still learning. We are trying to catch up. That's the truth. We are trying to catch up. It's not intentional. It's not because Nigerians don't want to be great or don't want to be all of those things. But the reality is that the environment and the ecosystem that we found ourselves does not give us the ability to do that. So I understand what Tosin is saying. So that's the first thing that came to my mind when he mentioned it. It was sort of like agreeing to a concept that I was already building. So I understand what Tosin is saying, right? Uh, at the same time, it doesn't mean that there are Nigerians that are great, but there's actually a gap to be bridged when it comes to
Okay,
uh,
I can't hear anymore. What's going on? Hi, Olumide. I think we lost you for a second.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can you guys hear me now?
Hear me.
Can everybody hear me,
Yes,
please?
yes, we can hear you, Ronnie.
Network is really dealing with me right now, so just in case I drop off or something.
Okay, no problem.
I can't hear you clearly. Oh my god.
No problem.
Sorry,
Oh
can
my.
anybody hear me?
Yes, Sharon, we can.
I did not pass anything to anybody, please. I was suffering my own suffer. I don't pass anything.
Oh my God. Exactly. Ronnie contracted it too. So, Olumide, can you hear us or you're
Yeah, I can hear
outside
you guys.
for now?
I
Okay,
can hear
please
you guys. I was
continue.
rounding up. Okay, I was just rounding. I don't know where you lost me, but I was rounding up and I was saying that
Okay.
while I was just saying that whilst I understand what Tosin is saying in terms of the global standard, I what I agree is that there's still a lot of gap that we as Nigerian talent need to fill in order for us to match the global standard. So I understand what he says when he talks about the global standard. And from my experience, I have also seen that there are very, very cracked people out there. And even for us as an entire nation, we still have to do a lot of work to catch up.
Mm, very. The when you talked about our environment, while I was preparing for this, that came to my mind because I truly believe that our environment is one of the things um that affects how we work, that affects our work rate and all. Because I am I am sure that if a person that learns outside or that develops his or her skills outside of Nigeria has access to outsiders' mindset, their environment, their tools. For example, see what we are dealing with when it comes to network and all. So they have better tools,
Okay,
better.
please. As the where my where's my lighter?
Okay, Ronnie. Okay, so yeah, so that's just it. Thank you so much, Olumide. So let's have Moses now. Oh, can you give us your own opinion? What went through your mind when you heard what the CEO of Money Point spoke about?
Okay. Um. So first things first, please. I need to apologize to everybody on the call. Uh, I miscalculated the time, so I thought that I would have been home, for the call, but then I'm outside. Like I said, I went to a Nigerian restaurant, and the whole of the all the bad things happening in Nigeria that started happening. I can't hear you guys. All of a sudden, there's network issues. Sorry about that, right? But also, please, it's better. It's fine to just call me JMB. Um, I don't like to be called Moses. Makes me feel somehow,
Oh,
right? So JMB is fine, right?
JMB. Okay,
Yeah, JMB. I like to be
okay,
called by my full
JMB.
name, so it's fine. Yeah. It's fine. It's fine to call me JMB. Okay. So let me just go
Okay.
right into it. I'm happy that you rephrased the question because I didn't hear anything you guys were discussing at first, and I'm glad that we're talking about the Money Points CEO saga. And the truth is, I'm happy that we're talking to a very small community, right? And the most important thing, especially when I'm talking to a community like this, is don't be carried away by the noise. Don't be carried away by too many frivolities. Focus on being a solid talent. So what person was trying to say is that there are few talents, but there are too many candidates. I promise you, I do this for a living. I interact with people for a living in the sense of trying to get people the right talents to fit into roles. And I'm not even joking, right? There are a lot of candidates. Are we blessed with very young people that can apply for jobs? Oh yes. Are they the right talent for the jobs that I'm trying to close? No, that's the bitter truth, right? Again, maybe the 500 roles might have been exaggerated. Also, it might not have been exaggerated because I've also had cases where I have like 20, 30, 100 roles to close, and I know what it took me to close those roles. Again, do we have very young people who are vibrant, who would apply for these jobs as it is dropping immediately? And to and by extension, bring the number to like 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. Hey, wait, oh, can you guys hear me? Someone is saying JMB, yours is village view. Can you hear me? Let me be sure that.
I
Okay,
can
great.
hear you,
Okay, she's referencing what I
JMB.
said. Okay, she was
I
I
referencing
can
can
what I
hear
hear
said.
you.
you.
Okay, I get it. So it's a question of talent versus candidates, right? So I think the other day I wanted to even make a point, but I now discovered and I reminded myself that it was 2023 that I was very passionate about topics like this. 2023, 2024, that I was really crazy about topics like this. I would have given my 2 cents. I would have written on LinkedIn and all of that. But it doesn't make any sense for me anymore. So what I do now is I just try as much as possible to close the gaps that I can see in my immediate environment. But we cannot downplay and take away the fact that we have a lot of people that are not skilled. We have a lot of people that are not ready to compete. It's not their fault, but because of environment, like Olumide said, right? Environment in this sense now is not just because they're from Nigeria. We will go back to our educational system. What exactly is being taught in school? This day and age, we have talents around the world still, competing when it comes to AI. Guess what is a 300 level student, 400 level student is still battling right now in the University of Lagos or any prestigious university in Nigeria. They're still talking about Karl Marx. They're still talking about Aristotle. They're still talking about Plato. They're still talking about Socrates. They're still talking about very, very, very irrelevant things that don't hold water in the 21st century, that don't hold water in this age and time. So that's the problem. Now, you want someone like that who has been enveloped with too many theoretical theatrics to now come on the global stage to talk to someone who originally, just because they schooled in another place, in another environment, from get-go, they can do a lot of magic with Excel. They can do a lot of magic with PowerPoint. They can do a lot of magic with Google. I promise you, a lot of talent don't even know how to operate Google Meets. A lot of people don't even know how to. These are the issues. If we want to be very truthful with ourselves. Again, I'm not saying from the standpoint of a CEO. I'm not saying from the standpoint of a founder. I'm telling you now, from the standpoint of HR that interacts with people. I had 20 roles in 20 states in Nigeria to close. The only people that did not give me headache were people from Lagos and some other high-brow city like Port Harcourt, some part of Edo. But you see, the moment I went down to my part of the country, which is the north, I promise you, there were so many issues. Issues that are even related to insecurity. There was a guy in Taraba State, for instance. He couldn't come to the interview at a particular time because the government would have shut down the network at that time because of insecurity signals. So these are the issues. Again, if someone like that is trying to compete globally, to try to get a job in the US, are you going to tell your employer that I'm so sorry because of the insecurity issues, I'm not able to come online this particular time? Can we move it this other time? Meanwhile, don't always forget that an interview is a warfare. There's someone out there who is ready to even meet at midnight or whatever time you give them, and they readily go to smash the interview and they get the job, they get the opportunity over you who is in Nigeria. So these are the issues. These are the real issues. So I don't have any issues with what Tosin said, because to be very, very honest, if you want to really take away sentiments, a lot of Nigerians are not employable. And I've given you my reasons for saying all of this. Maybe when we go deep into the
Yeah,
conversation, right, we can now explore more. But that's my two cover. Thank you.
yeah, and I think I very much agree with JMB. on the terms where, like, we're saying that a lot of Nigerians are not employable. And when we talk about not being like people that are not employable, it's like from the angle of results. There are people you hire that cannot, they will not bring you results, right? And then you have to, because like you're paying money to get XYZ results, but they're still not bringing you that results. That is what is priority for you in the grand scheme of things. So I feel like a lot of employers do not understand that the results, a lot of employees do not understand that the results that you are bringing to your client, or the results that your client actually wants for themselves, is what flies. And there's a lot of ego getting hurt in the long run, misalignment, right? Not taking the work as seriously as you should, not being dedicated to, or taking ownership, in fact. Do you get? So, and Nigerians are really terrible people. Like, oh my god, Nigerians are not very trustworthy. Maybe I should say that Nigerians are not very trustworthy, and in the game of trying to maybe be an employer to employee, it's very important that you are able to trust your team to bring you, or to not embarrass you on the days where you don't want to be embarrassed. So that's just what I say.
Okay, so when JMB was talking about how someone is in 300 level, 400 level, and he doesn't even know how to do PowerPoint very well or something. I have I have stories for days. In 500 level, I am a nursing graduate. I am a graduate. Yeah, I just graduated this year, and 500 level nursing students cannot operate a computer correctly. And we want to move to telemedicine, telenursing, tele this, tele that. But you are in 500 level, you cannot even operate a computer correctly. The computer science students in my class, in my school, sometimes when they want to, go to the lab to use the computer, the lecturers will be saying, "What are you doing there? Don't use the computer, get out," and all. I thought they are computer science students. Why are they not allowed to use the computers and all? So the what did you say? So it is the problem is even from our educational system, like JMB said, like you are just bombarding people with PDFs, with theories and all. The practicals, they are not there. We don't have the skills and all. So thank you for those beautiful answers. I had to take note because this is getting really interesting. So while the three of you spoke about how one of these issues is our environment. Specifically, Mide spoke about that one of the problems is our environment. So for you to get to this stage, how were you able to groom yourself to on your skills that you become someone to reckon with and all? I will direct this question to Ronnie. Can you?
Ronnie, is you. In case you're talking, your mic is muted, Ronnie.
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Okay, so I said for you to get to this stage where you are a beautiful, beautiful brand strategist, that you sorry,
Yeah,
personal strategist, and
yeah.
you've been able to get to this stage. How were you able to on your skills that you are able to work with global brands and all of that?
Okay, so I think I really like that question, and I might do a lot of details in answering the question. So I just want people to really pay attention. So in terms of how I got to a global level where I'm now interacting with global brands, right? It really stemmed from showing up online, and it's why right now I'm currently advocating for strategic career visibility. Like in one of my advocacy, I advocate for a lot of things, like just in my career.
We cannot hear you again.
Right. So I got an opportunity to work with somebody who had like done the work of showing up online a lot. Like she was successful. Not even she is a successful person. And then just being able to access somebody who is successful from um a very basic thing. Like she made a spectacle out of a very basic thing and she succeeded at it. It gave me perspective, right? It gave me lots of perspective into how trustworthy work, how diligent work, how hard work could compound over the years. And being able to see that passively rewired my brain that I didn't even realize. And one of the lessons that I want to bring out of there is that as you are going up the ladder in your career, you need to allow yourself be refined by the information that you are having access to. And by allowing yourself be refined by the information, I don't just even mean, taking in the information and just moving on wherever the wind takes you. I'm saying from the angle of expose yourself to quality information, curate a world or a life where you have access to quality information, and then use that information to influence yourself and the work that you do to get better every day. I was opportune enough to read something as far back as, because I mean I read a lot, and still on the topic of how can you expose yourself to quality information is books, podcasts, newsletters, digital media, even traditional media, in terms of the conversations that you have or that you are in the room for, right? So just really doing that. So what I did was over time, I started picking up bits and pieces because I didn't come from a family where like, women, I literally came from a family where the height of success for women is you marry good husband. And I'm not even saying that, my family is bad. I love my family a lot. But they were not examples of what I wanted, what I counted as success in terms of being a woman and being a powerful woman. Do you get? Because I very much think that I am a powerful woman, but I wasn't always like this. I literally grew into a powerful woman. Do you get? So it's like a lot of us don't understand that one of the things that I have been able, of all the things that I've been able to do in my career so far in such a short time, because I also had the privilege that I didn't work. I didn't work while I was in uni. I feel like my academics would have suffered if I worked while I was in uni. But I had that privilege. And not many people actually genuinely have that privilege. Right. So having exposure to somebody who was successful through end work allowed me to um think differently, allowed me to think objectively about the work that I do and how I could keep getting better at the work that I do. So the SI unit for being a global talent is being somebody who is committed to being a better version of themselves every day. Like in the constant evolution of life, you need to be sure that you're getting better, right? And that's how you literally stash a lot of positive things. Because I mean, the beauty about life is just really being a mosaic of great experience. So I hope that answered your question.
Yes, definitely. And I love the fact when you talked about academics and work, I can relate because I started to know about the internet and all when I was in 100 level, but my parents, they did not like the idea of me working. When um when I was doing my prerequisite in nursing outside the country, I was able. My mom believed it was okay for me to work because it was outside the country. But in Nigeria, when I started schooling in Nigeria, they did not allow me to work. So my I was really, really inconsistent, extremely inconsistent. So sometimes I'm working, other times I'm not working. And my course, I studied nursing, so it's demanding. And then if I try to get help from home, my mom will tell me, "Oh, nobody asks you to do that. Focus on school. Nursing is enough." So I understand that part where you say, "Oh, your parents and all. Of course they do love us, but that, that traditional should I say traditional mindset where it is like they just go to school, get a job, get married to a good husband, have
Yeah.
children, give me
I don't
grandchildren."
think that my parents even understand the work that I do right now.
I can't even tell them. When I had this meeting,
I
I just told
swear.
them, please, I have a meeting. As I just said, please, I have a meeting. Like, please do not disturb me. Do not start talking to me. But I can't tell them that, oh, I'm into SEO. They know I'm a writer, but it used to be, oh, do assignments for people. That's all. I can't explain. I can't really explain what I do. So thank you for that beautiful question, for that beautiful answer. I was so happy that at least there's someone out there that is up there already that can relate to my current struggle. So this question is for Midi. So has this ever happened to you where you put out a job offer, people apply and all that, and then when it's time for the price for their salary, it's way above your budget. Like, let's say the person is coming with $2,500, and your budget is maybe $1,000. Has it ever happened to you, and how were you able to sort it out?
Great question. First of all, I must I must say that I'm impressed by the fact by how much you believe in me. That I want to hire somebody and pay them $1,000 in the first place. Or I don't know what Tolu told you about it. But if you see $1,000 job, please bring it to me. I will apply. Please. But I'm not going to talk about $1,000 because I've never tried to apply for a role that is I don't know. I've never tried to hire for that kind of role before. I hope so in the future. Um, but that question, I'm going to answer that question from two perspectives because one of the reasons why I was really happy to come to this conversation is that I have a lot of angles. I have the angle of when I started my career way back in 2019, 2020, the way I was applying to jobs. I have the I have the I can also speak from my experience right now. I can't remember the last time I applied to a job, and I'm not saying this to feel any way or anything. Like I really just want you guys to hear what I'm saying when I say this, right? So now I have those two experiences. The third experience I have is that I've gotten to a point over the past few years where I have actually been part of a hiring process, meaning that I am giving the specs to I'm giving the specs to a particular HR or manager, and we go through the hiring process together. Now, to answer that question, first thing from my perspective, what I typically do when I am the one applying for these roles is one thing I know about companies is that whatever price point they are putting to anything that they are hiring for is out of a place of convenience for them. That's one. The second thing is, and that's if they're like a mid to large company. When you're trying to apply for a job for a mid to large company, they 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 are not, how do I put this? They're not trying to sacrifice something in order to hire you. Like you're just another figure on their accounting table, right? However, for smaller startups, right, it might actually be a sacrifice. So they might actually be pushing for it. This is for the companies, at least the one that I've been a part of. And for you that wants to apply, this is why research is very, very important. By the time you see all those kind of roles and you're like, oh, you know what you're trying to get in terms of finances, you know the kind of roles you want to get into. So if you see $1,000 job and you want to say that, oh, your own salary is $3,500 per month, it's simple. Why exactly do you want to apply to that company in the first place? What are you earning right now? If somebody says that they want to collect $3,500, then I'll just assume that you're probably earning around 2K25 for you to see that that's what you want next, because that's how salary should progress. So if you saw that the role was $1,000, then you probably should not even apply in the first place. However, guys, I'll tell you one personal experience I had when I was applying for roles. When I got to a point in my career where I knew that, okay, right now I'm optimizing for money. I believe there are three things you optimize for your career. You optimize for experience, you optimize for value, and you optimize for money in that cycle. When I was optimizing for money, I promise you guys, I was earning less than $500K per month. But I promise you, if the role was $800 or $1,000, I was not going to apply. Sometimes I might even apply, but I will not take it serious because I knew the benchmark of where I was going to. And one thing I believe personally is that if I aim for $5,000 and I fall short, maybe what I really need is $2,000. If I eventually fall short, maybe I fall short to 3,000 or even that same 2,000, I would have still met my goal. So what I do is I aim for the roles that have way more than what my goal was, and then I will hope to get something like that fits my goal. So that is the experience from the person who is applying. Those are the things that I put in place when I'm applying. If I'm already earning XYZ amounts, if I'm already earning more than your offer is stating, then there's nothing I'm looking for there, right? Except in nuanced cases, but I think the question does not address that. But on the flip side, I want to hire for a role. The most dangerous thing is if I don't put the salary range on the job description, which is something that employers do for reasons that I don't know. I feel like if you're hiding your salary range, then you are being sort of you're trying to play some certain cards. You want to see if you can get the best value for the cheapest money. Okay. By the way, this is what, again, that's why I say you are just another figure on the table, right? Actually, yeah, I want to even speak now. Thank you for that. Also. So let's say you want to hire for a particular role. You don't put a salary range on it. People start applying, and you're surprised that somebody is saying that they want to collect 2 million naira per month from you. And I wonder, why do people want to collect 2 million naira per month? Guys, I've seen somebody try to collect 2 million naira per month with a 2 years of experience resume. I've seen it. I don't know why. I don't know whatever. But the reality, once again, the reality is that someone with that same 2 years of experience in a different company, in a different country, in a different environment, is earning the dollar equivalent that is even more than 2 million naira. So yes, it's not about the 2 years of experience. It's about the reality of the economy that we are in right now. So the first thing is, if you're hiring, I don't know if you have companies here, but if you have people that are representing companies here, if you're hiring, state what you think your budget is. Even when you state a budget, people that want to collect higher than that budget to still apply. I've released a role before, working with someone else, of course. I wanted to hire for a junior backend dev because I needed a junior backend dev to join my team. One of the engineering teams I was leading. I needed the junior dev to join my team. We released a role. We put the salary figure there. It was a particular range, and we still got. It was in that role I got someone with 2 years of experience asking for 2 million naira. Those kind of people will always submit something. They always push their luck. They may be like me, because if you say, oh, you want to, although me I can be sensible, your budget might be $1,000 to 1.5, and I'll put my resume and I'll say, oh, I want to collect 2.5 or 2,000. It's because I'm doing it from a mindset where I've read your job description, I've seen my resume, I've seen the problem that you want to solve in your company. I've written something very catchy in the cover letter that I feel like might get your attention. By the time I get you, I used to just say that I just need you to get into a conversation with me. If I pass all your technical assessment phase and you get into a conversation with me and you don't hire me, it will be because there's a very, very fundamental reason why you don't want to hire me. I'm always like, so I have that confidence. Sometimes I will actually apply and put a slightly higher range, and I'll try to have that conversation and see if I can still land the role, right? So there will always be someone who will apply with a higher range than yours. The important thing as a company is that you are clear about the budget you want, and you are willing to sacrifice to get great talent, depending on the stage you are in your particular company. If you're a startup, right? If you're a startup and you're looking to hire a great talent, one thing you know for sure is that you cannot compete with the bigger guys in terms of pay. You cannot compete with the bigger guys in terms of pay. So what do you offer instead, right? You get smarter about what you offer. You want to speak to things like mission-based, rewards, equity-based rewards, aligning of should I say interest, meaning that, oh, I'm working in IoT hardware. If you're interested in hardware, this is a great place for you to explore, because there are very, very few companies in Nigeria today that are doing hardware. So if you're a hardware engineer already, the company looking for you, they also have to sell themselves that, oh, we do hardware here, so you can work with us, you can learn with us. That is something they can sell, because the reality is that I don't think there's a company in Nigeria that can pay what hardware people are supposed to be earning. So those are the kind of context and concepts that we need to put in place. So I've spoken from different perspectives. The person that is applying, if you think it's not bad to push higher the budget range, guys, that's just what I wanted to really establish. From the talent side, it is not bad to push higher than the budget range. However, you must be doing it from a place of confidence that you know for sure that the value you bring to the table is something that is worth paying for. You know that this is the price you're supposed to be earning, and you know the problem they want to solve, and you're confident that you can actually solve that problem. You can show them why you deserve to be paid XYZ amount to solve that particular problem. The second thing from the company side is just manage expectation. If somebody applies with a ridiculous amount, you have no reason trying to interview them. You have no reason trying to, because they are good, trying to beat down their price and things like that, except it's reasonable. For example, the guy that said he wants to collect 2 million naira for a role I was probably going to pay, how much were we going to pay? I can't remember. But for a role I was probably going to pay way less. I was definitely never going to take his resume to the next position, no matter how good he was, because you read the job description, you scored the money that was there. Why are you asking for ×5 or ×6 of it? So I don't need those kind of people in my company. It already tells me something about you. Yeah, it already tells me something about you. So those are like the I would say nuances that I would think about in those kind of situations. I hope that provides some clarity there.
So first of all, I need the level of confidence you have when you apply for jobs. I need it as a person. Is it just me, or others are on the same page with me? Kind of, as long as you can get on a call with me, you are going to hire me, unless one or two things is from your end. Right. That thing you said after budget for a reason.
Okay.
I need a level of confidence. Okay.
Okay.
Ronnie, you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to say that the muscle of being able to say confidently that you, once you get on the interview, nobody stands a chance at telling you no. It's literally a muscle. Precious, this why your eyes shining on me. It's literally a muscle. It's like you build it through constantly giving people results. Do you get?
Okay.
You don't
Yes,
build
I
it just
do.
from oh my god, I'm not talented. No. You build it from I have given XYZ person this result and I understand what you want. So I can also give you this result. Now, you've made yourself as this is the result they want to get. If they don't give you the result, if they don't choose you to give them the result, they will lose out. You get so it's like they want you, and at the end of the day, you guys enjoy like money. So that's really what I wanted to have.
Okay, definitely. Thank you. I get that now. So This is a little bit similar to what I asked Olumide, but it's a bit different. And I want JMB to answer this question. So when I was scrolling through Twitter today, I saw a woman. She was complaining. They had an interview for 11 job applicants by 9 a.m. and rain fell, and she already predicted that these people were not going to show up because, of course, Nigerians, number one, African time, number two, mediocrity and all, over familiarity as well. So 9 a.m. interview, nobody showed up. 11 of them, even till for the next 1 hour, to like past 10, nobody showed up, nobody texted, nothing. And people will start complaining there's no job in Nigeria. I know the job, but now there is a job interview and you're not showing up. Has that ever happened to you where you set a time for people for for an interview and then they don't show up, they don't respond, they don't do nothing? So that question is for JMB.
Oh wow, okay. Maybe go to my Twitter and just type interview on my timeline and see. So before, right? I think in the last 2 years or like this year, most especially, I've grown. I now do. I'm not taking a lot of things serious anymore. I now do more of. I just catch cruise, reminisce about old times, and have a beautiful time, and do my work and move on with my life. Right. But there was a time in my life where I used to really crash out about people who disappoint. So yes, it's a normal thing actually. But then this normalcy started from, I dare say, maybe some 5 years ago or 6 years ago. I'd say that a lot of things changed though, after COVID, right? A whole lot of things changed. People started making unnecessary demands that our work culture has not grown up to, But that's a debate for another day. That's a conversation for another day. But in this case of this woman tweeting,
JB, I want to have
that
that
people,
conversation with you.
okay, no problem.
Okay.
No problem. Maybe I'll touch on it as well. But but in the situation where this lady is saying, um, 9 a.m. Okay, rain was falling. That one I would understand, right? Maybe the rain was too much and people couldn't. Again, if it is Lagos, we know how hard it is to commute in Lagos when it is raining. But here's what a sensible candidate would do, right? They would send a mail and say, yes, I know that it is very evident that rain is falling, right? Maybe the rain started from like 7 a.m. So because another sensible candidate would have already been there. If it's a physical interview, would have already been there, say like 8:30, right? That's the right thing to do. That's how we used to do things when it was my time to do interviews, like I was the interviewee, okay? But a lot more times than not, what we now see is this nonchalance, this unseriousness from candidates where they feel like, you know what, I'm the prize. I don't care if you think, I'm the prize, I'm the catch,
The thing.
which is not a lie, which is not a lie. But it will only be a lie if you are not even good enough for the role. But what I'm trying to say now is, there are so many nuances to this conversation. I wouldn't blame someone who is in Lagos and maybe rain start from 7 a.m. All those 7 a.m. rain that will not stop. I mean, the entire city is flooded. Nobody can really move that much, But you will still stand oblivious of the fact that these are excuses that you should have given on a normal day, and still sending a message or a mail to say, I'm so sorry, I'm running late, or I'm sorry, can we change, the dates of this interview? But what we have seen so many times is that people will not just show up. You will not try to call them, they won't pick your call. You will send a mail, they won't answer you. So to answer your question point blank, yes, there are so many times. I'm even saying virtually now, virtually. So many times we have virtual calls, people don't show up. And you know it's not painful for me as a consultant. They show up in the first level of interview where they speak to me and my team. The moment I'm now trying to do an intro to the client who is going to pick them at the end of the day and pay the salaries, these guys don't show up. And I'm now looking very unserious to the clients. I'm now looking like I don't even know what I'm doing, or maybe I'm even telling a lie that someone is coming for an interview. This is basically what happens most times than not, right? So now to now touch back on the conversation of how things change post-COVID. The truth is, yes, I am one of the advocates of VUCA, the fact that it's a beautiful thing it's a beautiful thing, especially for African workforce, that things change, right? But I feel like a lot of people, especially people that are not really grounded. You see, Ronnie said something. You can literally look at the eyes of people, make certain demands, not flinch about your demands. I mean, the other day I was tweeting and I said I met someone who did not accept my offer when I was in Conga because my vision and mission statement did not align with his own personal vision and mission statements. There are candidates like that. There are talents like that. There are people like that. But I promise you, before you be able to make such demands and do such kind of shakara, you must have done some level of beautiful, excellent, impeccable work. Not the one that you are half-baked. You're not really good at what you do. In fact, most of the time that you haven't done any excellent job at all is because it's team effort, or your team members are always pushing you, or your team lead is always helping you to complete your work. Then you want to pull off all of these unnecessary shenanigans. No, it's not going to work. It's not going to make any sense. You understand? No, I'm saying it exactly as it is. So a lot more people that fall into these brackets, that fall into these pockets, are now making demands that they don't stand a chance close to since post-COVID. You want to work remote, no problem. But apply into jobs. See, let me tell you something. I've said this so many times. I'm almost sounding like a broken record. A company that has infrastructure, in this case of infrastructure, now I mean they have buildings, they will not allow you work fully remote, no matter how much you want to negotiate. Because if they allow you work fully remote, their buildings will dilapidate. So they won't allow you. So again, the onus is on you as the talent to choose where you want to work in. Look for companies that will do fully remote. Don't go and look for a company that already told you that we want to do on site, and you're not trying to guilt trip them, blackmail them, force them to give you remote. And when they don't do that, you're now angry. You're now shouting. You're not making unnecessary comments on Twitter. You're not calling founders, CEOs, wicked people. They're not considerate. No. So a lot more times, the best that these companies that have infrastructure can do for you is hybrid. They say, okay, you know what? Work 2 days from home, work 3 days from the office, or work 3 days from home and 2 days from the office. Now that makes sense, right? But because you've seen that your friend who works for an American company or works for a company that doesn't have infrastructure, I would not even mind having you work from anywhere in the world because they don't even have money to sustain a building. You're not trying to compare yourself with them, and by extension, causing a lot of problem. So it takes a level of smartness to know the difference between these things. If you don't know the difference between these things, it means that you can't even be making such demands. It's as simple as that, right? That's why I said post-COVID, a lot of things have changed. Oh, let's not even talk about the fact that a lot more than not. I can't remember the last time I did a physical interview. I cannot remember. It's been so long that I did any physical interview, right? But then, even with the virtual interviews that we have all moved to because of post-COVID, because of FUCA and all of that, people still do not show up, and they don't deem it fit to even give an excuse for why they are not showing up. That's the highest level of unprofessionalism. So yes, this thing happen, and it happens every single day. I mean, even as recent as yesterday, I had interviews and people did not show up, and there was no reason for it. Me too. I don't bother myself anymore. You don't show up, that's fine. I give you a 10 minutes grace. If I don't see you in 10 minutes and you don't show up, that's totally fine. Me too. I'll move to the next candidate. I'll call the next candidate and ask them, are you able to move your time forward? If yes, fine. If no, I'll do your interview your time. I would definitely find that talent that I'm looking for. Gone are the days where I used to crash out and shout about people not coming for it. Don't come. No problem. I'll find that person who's going to fit my role, and I'll be fine. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for that answer. I think that is what happened to me one time because I had an interview with a brand and then I was rejected at first. And about a week later, one of them sent me another email and said, "Oh, can we proceed? Can I think I got we did another interview again. So to me, I think they already had someone, and that's why they rejected me at first. But the person disappointed again or some or whatnot, and then they had to like proceed with me and just say, "Oh, just come and work with us. You have the skills and all." So, oh, that stuff probably happened in Lagos. I'm not sure, but the best thing is just email, just communication. An average Nigerian is just bad with communication, and there's this over familiarity that they enjoy. This their over familiarity stuff. So, does anyone want to
So,
add
so
to what?
I don't even think, to be honest, I'm sorry, right? I don't even think it's over familiarity, because over familiarity will only come from a place of you even know the person. Most times than not, your interviewers are total strangers to you, except for a few people who are quite popular on social media. That still doesn't mean that you know them or you are familiar with them, right? It's just that lack
Right.
of professionalism. And that's the same thing. For me, itself, is already even a red flag, right? If you don't give me a good reason for why you missed an interview. See, my problem with a lot of people now is that when you talk about this, it feels like maybe you didn't do interview in your own time or something. Bro, there was a time where I wrote about it now. There was a time where I I, I was coming from Kaduna. I landed I knew that on a normal day, night bus, I was supposed to get into Lagos by 5 a.m. But for some delays in Okene and all of that, we did not get into Lagos until like 7:30 ish. And my interview was a 9 a.m. interview. I lived in Agor Palace Way. My interview was in Alagomeji. So I had to go home first, freshen up. I got to the interview space, say like 30 minutes late. And then I and I mean what I said was the guy showed me some level of grace, pampered me and all of that because I told him why I was coming late. But at least I still showed up. There's some people who don't even face as half of what I have faced, and they will not just show up, and they will not have an excuse. And guess what? They don't have another job opportunity. They are just not serious. They're not just not serious. So it's a simple thing if you are unprofessional. It's a simple thing if you are not a serious person. Let's call a spade a spade. People are not serious. People are unprofessional. If it comes to over familiarity, just maybe 1 in 100 case. Okay, it's because I'm a bit familiar with this person. I just feel like, and most times, so the only time over familiarity will come into an interview is if they're trying to do intra interviews, say someone who is working within the company and they're trying to take you from department X to department Y, and you're trying to now do interview, maybe the person is your friend. But a lot more times the interviewers are strangers to you. So where's the over familiarity coming in from? People are just not serious. People are not just accountable. People are not just serious with their life. And I don't know why, because I don't know why people joke with money. I don't joke with money. If you give me interview, I will go for interview. I will appear there on time, do all I need to do on time, put my best foot forward. Not that I'll be joking with something that's supposed to change my life. Because like I said, a lot of these people don't have jobs. They don't even have something that is sustaining them. So why are you now joking with the opportunity that you have to change your own life? Simple.
Well, they want the money, they want the pay without the job. Soft life gang. So, does anyone want to add one or two things to what he has said? You want
I
to?
have I have just a quick one on
Oh
that.
my God, I feel like MTN is after my life.
Ew.
Hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so yeah, in fact, JMB just read the message I was about to send. Look, so we have you see that thing that's happening right there is the fact that um Nigerians don't here in Nigeria we just don't have the I'm intentionally trying to avoid saying Nigerians don't because that's actually the skewed statement. But in this part of the world, we are much more we don't take things seriously. And this is not even in terms of like individual people or individual person. many people here on this call now that saw something about talent, who
Is it me or the thing that was happening to me has started again?
I think so. I think is the thing,
No,
because I
it's
can't
not
hear him
changed.
anymore.
In Jesus' name. It's that I'm not
No,
part
it's
of it.
not. I think it's
I'm not
me
part of
because I
it.
can't hear.
I can hear
And
now.
then
I can hear you. I think it's midday. I think it's a
yeah,
Nigerian thing. You guys in Lagos, you guys are
I
suffering.
can hear you,
I'm
Sharon
sorry.
and Moss, but I can't hear
House
me
for
there.
you see your big mouth. Yeah, I'm not even in Lagos. So yeah, I'm not even.
I will say,
I'm not in Lagos.
oh God, God when will I travel? Try. Damn it.
Why will you travel as well? Do I live in Lagos? I don't live in Lagos now.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah, I'm even paying for myself. I don't know when next I will travel. Don't forget to show me mercy. Let me travel.
Yeah, I mean, may God even help us. We don't chop about, chop about, chop about.
Okay, so what's the
We
next
don't
point?
chop
Okay,
about, chop
Lenora,
about.
can you hear? Can you hear me there? Because we can't hear you.
No, you can't hear
Yes,
me, D.
we
Why?
can hear, we can
We
hear
can't
him.
do
I
Oh,
can hear
so
him.
you can hear me,
We
D.
can hear him.
Ah,
Oh wow!
Yes.
wow.
I've joined. I've joined the group chat.
Wow.
Okay. Let me finish what to say.
Okay.
hi guys, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Uh-huh. Now you can hear
Yes.
him. Man. So what were the people
Yes.
hearing him before? Which window will be
Sorry,
hearing?
so nah, sorry. So it was my connection. I had a call coming disrupted. Anyway, what I was going to is this. So when I say we're not serious, I'm not talking about like individual Nigerians not being serious. To be honest, like I was saying that there are about 20 people here who saw something about talent, whether you're a founder here, I'm sure most people here are probably talent themselves, and they are willing to hear this conversation. This is not the conversation of how to find a job, where to get a job, share money. So it points to say that some Nigerians are serious. I like to say many Nigerians can be serious. What I mean when I say we're not serious in this part of the world is that we don't listen to our environment. The reality of what is happening now is that we are experiencing a very similar thing, or we are close to the point that the USA was post World War II, which is a season they call the Great Depression. The reality is that we are entering a phase as a nation where everybody wants to give up. It is subtle. We are masking it with a lot of things, but the reality is that so many people want to give up. And see, and people will say, "Oh, Africa is such a spiritual, religious nation." Thank God for religion in our life, because so many people would have been cast out, would have been depressed. I don't know, probably suicidal and so many other things. So the reality is that we are actually at a point in our nation and in Africa where we are. Or let me say in our nation. Let me not try to say act like I've been any. I've not left Nigeria before, but but we're experiencing that, right? And it's telling in our relationship with our work. There's so many people who no longer have great relationship with their work, and I'll give you. I'll tell you why this is important. If you have a family here, if you ask your parents to tell you a little bit of history about your lineage, no matter what they say, I assure you, no matter what they say, your lineage will end up in two things: either something about the occupation of your family or the religion of your family. It's either you say, and even in those times, their occupation and their religion were closely linked. If your name is Ifa something, Ifa this, Ifa Korede, Ifa Gbem, Ifa, it's not just that your ancestry were worshiping a particular thing. It was that they were actually the priests in their time. It was their profession as much as their religion. If you have some Ogun Kinikon, Ogun something, it's not that your people were just worshiping Iron, a god of Iron. It's that most of them were I think blacksmiths, if I remember correctly. They are the ones that were hunters. They are the ones that were. So my point is, people's identity were closely knitted. Even our ancestors were closely knitted with the kind of work that they did. It was central to them. But he said they were iron. Yeah, they were so strong. It's like they were iron themselves. So people's work were so central to them that it was their identity, it was their name, and it was their ancestry. Now, I'm not going to name my child Tech Tech Ayo because I work in tech, right? But it shows something. We've removed that a lot more. Our exposure, freedom to be creative, even if that's not what being creative is supposed to mean. Freedom of expression and all of that, and which is why we've gotten to a point here where we are losing the validation and the identity we get around our work. And that's why I say thank God for religion, because when people feel that way, they rely on religion to solve that problem. Also a wrong thing to solve with religion, but I mean, thank God that at least we have something to fall back to that saves us from the Great Depression. But I just really wanted to time that in at this point while as we're talking about seriousness, is that we are really, really, like, we need to actually pay attention to what's happening right now. And it's why people are not motivated to vote. People are not motivated to lay their lives down for their country, because even the thing that affects them personally, they are supposed to make up to their identity, they are not even motivated to do that. So why would they be motivated for another person? Because if you lay your life down for your country, it's not because of you, it's because of the fact that you just love your country so much. And we don't have that, unfortunately. Sorry for taking you guys to my pep talk, but I feel like it was important to share.
Okay, thank you. So, she asked a question that after all this, because at the end of the day, the creatures are suffering because they don't have enough, you know, talent to fill in the job roles, and employees or potential employees, they are also suffering as well, because okay, they don't have the necessary skills, the mindset and all to be able to get into those senior role entries or even be good enough for recruiters. So how can we just bridge this gap? Where do we go from here? So let's start with Ronnie.
Sorry, what did you say?
Okay, so
Hello?
can you hear me now?
Can anybody hear me? Yes.
Yes, we can. Okay, so someone asked the question, Shay asked the question. He said, how do we move forward? Because at the end of the day, both recruiters, employee, applicants, we are all suffering from this. So how do we move from here? How do we get better from here?
How do we get better?
Yes, how do we move from here? Like, we're not just talking about the problem now, we need solution. For example, the CEO of MoneyPoint, he already commissioned, is it 2 billion to get some innovations done in OAU, UNN, and I think ABU. So even after he had said, oh, Nigerians, they don't have the necessary skills
Yeah.
and all, he's bringing out, okay, this is a solution. Let me help. This is my little way of helping. So, from your own perspective, how can this bridge between recruiters and job applicants, how can the gap be bridged
Okay,
here?
so I think the gap with employee and employers is really important to be looked at from, or to be filled, can be filled through understanding what is important to your employee, that's the employer, and the employee also understanding what is important to their employer. And also the thing about how, like, more employers should put their money where their mouth is. If you say that you want somebody to be XYZ, if you hire them and you realize that they are not XYZ, it is now your duty to make them XYZ. Because the one of the roles of a leader, or one of the roles of an employer to an employee, is to develop your understanding, or is to develop the understanding of your staff. Do you get? to match the level of result that you want in a way that they even see that result as normal, and maybe if you are lucky, give you more results. But there's also the thing where you have to be patient for that to pan out. Then for the employer to the employee, you have an obligation to bring your, so if you're not bringing your nail to bring your team, try to nail to bring your team or your company the best results that you could possibly give them. And to the comments in the chat about how money points would rather agents than support tech, I genuinely do not think that they need to support tech. I think they need to support from the grassroots, because the conversation has even gone beyond support for tech. It's yes, the young people that are in tech, right? But like going to the grassroots, and I think somebody on the call mentioned that they already release funds for OAU places. So it's like, let's have more of that, and it should not just be triggered by you making very, because that comment he made was very distasteful. You're somebody who is a unicorn leader in Africa in general. People are looking up to you, but you are throwing your company under the bus because you are now on a global stage. That's also another thing to look at. But it's like, now that they are seeing, or now that they know better, it's like them now sponsoring important things like all these CSR, like taking CSR seriously. CSR is corporate social responsibility, where a company engages in social impact stuff. So more social impact stuff generally, rather than tech driven. Thank you. I hope that answered your question. Can anybody hear me?
That.
Yeah. We heard you. I think
Okay.
moderators network is.
I'm on this network now, national cake.
So
Yeah, sure,
So I
you
mean,
can speak.
okay.
yeah.
So I have one more question for Mide. Actually, I was going to ask the question earlier that where do we go from here? So I think I like Mide's perspective. Going a step further into some of the root causes of where we found ourselves, because I think I share the sentiment that the root the root often plays a huge role in all these things going forward. So, but my question is that if at the, because he mentioned the part of I'm coming, please. Sorry. He mentioned the part of how what we did initially was a part of our identity, and now we have someone going to invest that kind of money, like that amount of money, into universities. Now the question I then have is that, do we really think that direction is the right direction? I also like what Ronnie said when she said that a lot of grassroots development is quite important at this stage. But do we really think the orbs like that is one of the important things at the moment, considering that we also have another root problem of management of things and maintenance of things? So under whose authority would these orbs be? Would it be under the university? And if there's any record of how universities use things, we, at least a lot of us, went through public universities and we see how things even with some private ones. So, and I think it's also a part of the problem of our culture. We do not have so much of a good maintenance culture culturally as Nigerians. We go way back. We don't have so much of that. We are people that use fresh things and want to rebuild most of the time. So, given all of this, do we think this is the right direction? I think this question is to me.
All right, guys. So that question, I
And let's
think
also give him some time.
I
It's
think
kind of
that
doing
it's
some.
a, how do I put this?
Okay.
How do I put this? It's, so to answer your question, I think I'll first of all speak to what I think is I think I'd like to actually highlight more problems. I know we're trying to go to a solution, but I think that might help us probably get to some solution. Now, speaking to startups specifically, I can't draw a straight line from how that hub will help startups. Actually, I can't, but I'm just saying that as like that discussion as a solution, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we can use that as, oh, this is one of the solutions that happened that this guy has done that will help startups to hire or find great talent. I'm not very sure. However, when it comes to startups and finding great talent, I'll give my experience from the talent perspective. There's a particular startup that I joined 4 years ago. When I joined them, then I was only about 3 years into my career. I joined that startup. When I joined that startup, when I went for the interview, I interviewed with their CTO, and the CTO at the time had 8 years of experience. Now I'm starting a startup, which is a very good time to start to run a startup. Now, that is, I saw that as a great structure. I had never been in a startup that had that kind of CTO, so that had like a lot of experience. The first startup I joined, that CTO I only had 6 months of, like, he started engineering 6 months earlier than I joined. So he only seniored me in engineering career by 6 months. But that is a different story. But that's also the main problem. That the first problem with startups is that you see a lot of non-technical founders trying to build a technical product without a technical partner and expect to be able to find a great technical talent. It is only by chance that they eventually find something like that. The first way startups need to use, like the first thing startups need to find a great talent is to get someone who knows what they want to do. And since we're talking about tech startup mostly in this case, they are it's not only tech startups that are startups. For engineering, I'll speak to it. If you are building a technical product or you want to build a technical product and you are not a technical person, find a technical partner. If you don't have the 2 years to go and learn how to code to build your solution yourself, find a technical partner. That's problem and solution number one. If you cannot find a technical partner, leave the idea alone. Go and make a hell lot of money. Hire a technical founder. See how I did not say hire a good software engineer. Hire a co-founder. You can actually hire co-founders, by the way. Like you can hire founding engineers, but you're trying to tell somebody that, hey, I have 60K. I have 30 million naira a year offer for you. I want you to leave this job that you're doing. I want us to come and build this dream together. Besides the salary, you will get 10% equity, maybe 10% equity in your company, and this in the company, and this. Now, you need to know what you're doing there. You are not asking the person to be the 50-50 partner. You are hiring that person because you don't have a technical founder. Many mistakes is that you are a non-technical founder, you want to hire, you're going to start trying to hire a software engineer to come and help you build something because maybe you're a product manager, you think you know how to do this. They will stitch up your eye. You will complain that, oh, you didn't find a great talent because you don't know how to hire a software engineer. Why do you think you'll be able to hire a software engineer? What questions do you think you'll be able to ask to know that you also want to hire as a great talent or not? First problem. If you want to now hire an agency to do the hiring process for you, once again, you can do all of that. You will still run into problems. Why? This person is doing this thing to survive. You are looking for a partner. You'll be looking for partner energy in somebody who is just doing the work to make money. You also think the person is not a great talent because you're calling the person by 9 p.m., by 10 p.m., by 11 p.m. You expect the person to answer. Actually, if you're a great talent, you should answer. I'm not a good yardstick for work-life balance, so I'll probably not speak to that. But you're expecting to call the person at XYZ time. You expect the person to respond to you because what you actually wanted was a partner, not an employee. Next layer of problem is what you sell. Again, from my perspective, when I joined this particular company, what I was, trying to, what I needed in my career at the time was I wanted to work under someone who has done so much more. Again, I was my third year of experience. I needed someone who has done 8 years, 10 years, so that I could learn from them. I could, really see what it feels like to do with engineering. I got the job. I got into this company, guys, and the CTO, he was Avatar. And when we needed him the most, how did they say that intro? He disappeared. This guy was Avatar Eng, and he's still Avatar Eng in the company today. He was Avatar Eng, bro. He disappeared from the company. He was there, but like he was also not there. There was nothing to learn. There was no nothing, and I was once again leading myself. So now I had to learn a lot by myself, and I still delivered a great work for them. I've tried to resign from this company 3 times. They've not let me go. I'm saying this to say that it's only very few times that you will find a talent that would stay regardless. One of the things that I would have done is that I would have left because it was not, and this was what the first time I tried to resign, that was what I wanted to resign. I told them this was what I bargained for when I came. This is what I wanted. This was what you said you offer me. You said you were going to rebuild your system. You wanted to do re-architecture. I was so happy and glad. Oh my God, I'm going to do a lot of engineering work here. I just the right API, like who like essentially I was not an engineer. I was just a pencil that was helping the CEO build a product to sell. Engineers will probably understand what I'm saying here. Like there was no true engineering work. It was just write code that will create the app so that people can just use it and pay money. Like we were simply a mercenary to make money for the CEO. That's what we were. We were not real engineers for a very long time. So I tried to resign for that reason. Of course, Sha bamboozle me, do tell me many things. I shall stay. I'm still getting today. But the point is that not a lot of talent would have endured that, would have waited. So that kind of founder will also come out to say there's no talent. That's another problem. When you promise something in the interview as a startup, fulfill that thing. And if you cannot fulfill it, be ready to actually carry people along with why you can no longer do this thing and get people involved. Like really, really get your employees involved into the different phases that the organization is going through so that they can understand and they can also think about their own career path that, okay, can I endure this? What I did then was that I knew that I was already emotionally invested in the startup, which was why I did not leave all the times I tried to resign. I was already emotionally invested. It was like my baby too. I built this stuff from ground up. You guys know that meme. I built this with my bare hands. I built what that guy say. So I really didn't want to leave too. So I had to find my engineering excellence outside, right? I had to find it somewhere else. I double job. I did when I want job. I did when I want job. That's how I found what I was looking for. I found it in other companies. I found it in community. I found it in other things. So that is the reality of what you expect on the job versus your own career growth. Your job will not always give you your career growth in your career. But if you want to still show up at your job and grow your career, do those things. You can try to do those things separately, or just have a clean cut, leave the company, tell them why you're leaving, and go and find a company that can give you what you want. I'll finish in a bit more, so you can just carry on. So that's like what I think is the second problem. Now, what I think is the third problem is the terms of pay. Startups cannot pay the kind of amount they need for to get the best talent, to be honest, which is this is the place where I also recommend the first solution I recommended, which is to get a technical partner, get a technical founder, someone who has money, or is already working somewhere else, making good money, and has time to be a partner for your startup. If you get that, you no longer need to hire for very, very like somebody that is cracked and stuff like that. You need to hire a teachable person. You need a teachable person who has at least the standard basic skill to deliver your product. And I say teachable because I know that as a startup, speed is your greatest weapon. You want to move fast. There's no time to teach. But if this person is a self-learner, is a self-motivator, wants to build stuff fast, and you have a technical founder who is going to give direction, give structure, guardrail, and give guardrails, you now have a higher chance to pay lower. It's not that you're trying to pay somebody lower. You're trying to just hire like someone who has only maybe 2-3 years of experience, and then let that person grow, with that founder. The person most likely spend a lot of time in your company because they learned a lot of things. There's a founder to learn from, there's a technical founder to learn from, and there's a lot of great experiences there. This is the kind of pattern I think would work for brand new startups who are looking to at least get people to join their company at the very beginning, right? So that would just be like what I was offer as maybe solutions to this particular startup and find a great talent problem. Malga, please, you can carry on.
Okay. So I liked Sharon this question, and I'll just add a few words to what Olumide has said. He was trying to explore the root causes of these problems. So I will start from answering the question if this 3 billion investment in universities would work. I'm sorry to be a pessimist or to be a spoiler, but it's not going to work. You know why? It's literally just going to be pumped into the already bad educational system that we have. They'll probably build, the same way we have in our universities right now. We have TED Fund, all of those buildings. They just build new structure with AC and all of that, and not really turn out any great thing. What would have been much more profitable for the workforce in Africa in Nigeria particularly, would have been to build the next Andelas, the next learn to earn. Those are the kind of things that will work. And I'll give you my sentiments for saying these things. You see, whatever the educational system could not fix or fail to fix is what Andela fixed. Very simple, right? And I'm very, very pained that Andela is not growing at an exponential speed. What Tech Learn to Earn now, which Ariyo-Adeoye is trying to build again after Andela, is literally the kind of places they should put money. Because see, we have 3MTT, 3 million tech talents. Those are the kind of things that will work, not putting it inside school that will just give people pipe vision, tell you at your orientation, don't worry, you can work anywhere. Rubbish talk, nonsense, professors speaking nonsense, speaking canned knowledge, nothing refined, nothing new. These guys literally know they know what they want to talk about. They know that, see, they've been the same note they've used 20 years ago is what they will use now. So they come to you to bamboozle you. They talk in class without they talk ex tempo, and you're wowed because you're still very naive. A lot of us were naive in school, because we feel like, how is this guy saying all of these things from his head? Bro, he's only saying it because of residual knowledge. He has said that in 20 years, for 20 years. So let me leave this conversation because it's a bit touchy for me. Now, I feel like that 3 billion will just be a waste of money, right? But no, it's not going to fix the real issues. Now, to now come back to your core questions, where the real problem lies. For me, I've always said it and I'll say it again and again. And one of our biggest problems, and it pertains everything that we do, is the fact that we need to overhaul our mentality. And what do I mean by that? It sounds a little bit vague, but if you look at it and you listen to me clearly, you will understand where I'm going to with this mentality talk. The fact that even when it comes to production, we can barely produce anything, right? We are a dumping ground for different countries to just dump whatever it is they produce in their countries. Ties back to our mentality. And what do I also mean by that? There are 5 indices or 5 index that you use to know a developed country in the world. Any day, anytime. One of them is people. And if you go down into people, you will see something called topography. Now, in topography, you are trying to now explore the quality of people. And in the quality of people lies the mentality of these same people. I am sorry to say, but Nigeria, with the kind of mentality that we don't have what it takes to literally change the tides or change our destinies. I'm sorry. It's a painful conversation. And that's why when Olumide was talking, it ties down to why, oh, all of a sudden we are now tired. Yes, is that, of course, corruption is there. The leadership is totally bad, which is still from these people conversation in the first place. But it ties down to how we do every single thing we do from top to bottom. People leading us don't even know how to make their own indigenous doctrines, their own indigenous ideologies. We are copying and pasting things that have worked in other economies. And that's one of the reasons why we cannot grow. If you check Nigeria's economic ideology today, if you read a lot, you will know that what we practice in Nigeria is not capitalism, it's not socialism, it's not communism, it's nothing of such. We call it mixed economy. Mixed economy is a confused way to say I don't know what I'm doing. And that's why I'm saying, you know what, I'll just mix everything together. Yes, these things are standard. If you check our constitution, check this thing, what we practice is a mixed economy. Mixed economy doesn't stand, doesn't work, doesn't hold water anywhere in the world. And that's why when it comes to production, zero. When it comes to export, zero. When it comes to doing things that changes the economic and the development tide, to the developmental tide of Nigeria from point A to point B, zero. So if we really want to change anything, whether it comes to the workforce, whether it comes to people employing the right people or employees becoming the right people, we just have to change the mentality. So I feel like when we now go back to the drawing board to try to change our mentality, to the point where me as a talent, I know that the reason why I'm getting paid is because I do excellent work. And as such, my mentality will tell me every single day that I want to build on myself. I'm not building on myself because my employer is going to enjoy from it alone. No, I'm building for myself because I'm stacking up my own realities. I'm literally moving my own, I'm bettering my life. You understand? Then the employer too. You are not mentality conversation comes to you to say, you know what, I'm not hiring this person because I feel I'm better than them. I don't pay them, I don't pay them salaries because I think I'm doing them a favor. So everything boils down to mentality, right? Because if you go to very small countries in Africa, you'll be wise as to how things are done outside Nigeria. You'll be wise as to how things are done, how things are very, very organized, how their workforce is young, how their workforce is organized, how everything moves better than whatever it is that we are doing in that Nigeria. So everything boils down to mentality. That for me is what I think is the root cause of everything. If we fix it, then we'll fix culture. Then we'll fix development. Then we'll fix everything, even down to the workforce. Thank you very much. Please, if we should frame it, let me go home. I'm on the road.
They'll just be wondering. They'll just be wondering why.
Oh
Who is
my
this
goodness.
man this much?
You're not allowed to wear. You're not allowed to wear your two earpiece or your two headsets together. Police, you are looking at me. The only reason why they block up to me is because I'm standing in one place. I'm not moving. If I was moving, they would have come to meet me to say, hello,
Like,
please take off
is
one
everything okay?
earpiece. And they are
Jesus.
looking at me. I'm easily shouting.
No, they're not going to. They go want even jam you for Nigeria. They go want. I mean, they go want jam you with that.
No. Yeah, they are doing
Okay.
things to protect you and make your life better, basically. So yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, JMB. Thank you, Olumide. Thank you, Ronnie, for today. Thank you for your time and all. Do we have any other question? Because we're wrapping things up now. No question. In five, who said God? I don't want to die in a question. In five, four, three, two, one. So no more questions. No no additions, no subtractions, and all. Okay, so lastly, we are talking about talents, creative recruiters, and all here. So I want to introduce myself to the speakers once again. My name is Agalaya Precious, and recently I started learning SEO. So I am open for any role like internship and any volunteer work so that I can start earning my skills with real projects. So in case you have a spot for me or you have someone you can refer me to, can either be an internship or again a volunteer role. I would gladly accept that. Thank you so much. So please follow our speakers and do you want to say something?
No, no, no.
Yes,
I
please.
just wanted to say that well done. Oh. Like I like what you did just now because I mean you just literally sold yourself to us. So well done.
Yes, thank you. And I'm a professional nurse and a midwife as well.
Okay.
So um please follow us. Okay, so Olumide, I will text you like right now in like 5, 4, 3 seconds. And also please follow our speakers, follow BCP as well. I've sent the link to the chat and we'll also send it to the group on WhatsApp. So okay. So thank you so much everyone for today. So I'm going to text you JMB, I'm going to text you Olumide. I think Ronnie is no longer on the call, but I'm going to text her as well. Okay. So thank you everyone for coming. Thank you for your time. We'll see you in episode 4. I'm sure you enjoyed this as much as I did. Thank you. Bye everyone. Have a beautiful, beautiful day or evening.
Bye, everyone. It was nice having you. Take care of yourselves. Bye. I'm ending the call now. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Mide. Thank you, Bolu. Thank you, every single person. Bye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your holiday. For those that go back to work tomorrow, what is your strength? Bye.